November 27th, 2020, 1 p.m. Absard, Iran. A narrow road cuts through the edges of Tehran. 4 armored vehicles move in a tight line, their engines humming through the quiet afternoon. Inside the second vehicle, a black Nissan Tayana, sits a man who holds Iran's nuclear future in his hands. His name, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. For over a decade, Mossad has been tracking his every move, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Today is that moment. Beside Fakhrizadeh sits his wife, unaware that in the next 60 seconds, her life will change forever. Around them, 11 bodyguards trained by Iran's Revolutionary Guards maintain a protective formation, 3 escort vehicles, encrypted communications, routes that change weekly. Israel's intelligence services have studied this security apparatus for years, searching for a single weakness. They found it. Without warning, the windshield shatters. Bullets tear through the glass with mechanical precision. Not from a motorcycle assassin weaving through traffic. Not from a sniper hidden in the hills. The shots come from a weapon that's been waiting on the roadside, concealed in an abandoned blue pickup truck. A weapon controlled by Mossad operatives over 1,000 miles away. Fakhrizadeh's vehicle lurches violently to the right. He shoves the door open, instinct driving him to flee. More rounds find their target, his chest, his back. Each shot calculated by algorithms designed by Israel's top military engineers. His wife, sitting centimeters away, remains completely untouched. This isn't luck, it's programming. One bodyguard breaks formation, throwing himself between the scientist and the invisible attacker. The robotic system recalculates instantly, adjusts its aim, fires. The guard collapses. 3 seconds later, the pickup truck detonates. A massive explosion consumes the weapon, the cameras, every piece of evidence. By the time Iran's security forces arrive, there's nothing left but twisted metal and unanswerable questions. The entire operation, from first shot to final explosion, takes less than 3 minutes. Mossad has just pulled off what many considered impossible, eliminating Iran's most protected scientist without a single Israeli agent setting foot on Iranian soil. Fakhrizadeh is airlifted to a Tehran hospital, critically wounded but still alive. Doctors work frantically, but the damage is too severe. Within hours, he's dead. Israel's decade-long hunt is over. But how did it come to this? How did a physics professor become the primary target of Israel's intelligence apparatus? And how did Mossad build and trigger a weaponized masterpiece that erased a man from 1,000 miles away? Inside the walls of Imam Hussein University in Tehran, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was unremarkable. Short stature, wire-rimmed glasses, a carefully trimmed mustache, the kind of appearance that vanishes in memory minutes after you've walked past him. Students who endured his lectures described a teaching style that bordered on punishing. Blackboards dense with nuclear equations, endless derivations of particle physics, zero humor, zero personality, just relentless, military-grade discipline. To the average Iranian citizen, Fakhrizadeh didn't exist. His name never appeared in newspapers. His face was absent from academic journals. Even university directories listed him with minimal information. This erasure was intentional. Iran's government understood exactly what value he represented and worked systematically to keep him invisible. But inside Mossad headquarters in Tel Aviv, his file grew thicker every year. Israel's intelligence analysts had connected him to Project Ahmad, the massive nuclear weapons development program Iran claimed to have abandoned in 2003. Mossad's sources indicated the program had never stopped, only gone deeper underground. Documents smuggled out of Iran showed Fakhrizadeh's name linked to SPND, the Organization of Defensive Innovation and Research. His signature appeared on procurement orders for specialized equipment. His authority extended over entire networks of laboratories working on uranium enrichment, warhead miniaturization, and delivery systems. Western intelligence agencies described him as the irreplaceable asset, a man who couldn't be turned, couldn't be compromised, but whose elimination would cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions. Israel's military planners noted that he coordinated research across multiple sites, managed budgets that ran into hundreds of millions, and personally supervised the scientists solving the hardest problems in nuclear weapons design. The myth crystallized. To his students, a forgettable professor. To Iranian society, invisible. To Tehran's regime, more valuable than oil fields. To Mossad, the single most dangerous man in the Middle East. Fakhrizadeh's story began in Qom, the spiritual heart of Shia Islam. He was 18 when revolution swept through Iran in 1979, toppling the Shah's monarchy. The upheaval shaped his entire worldview. He pursued two parallel tracks: academic brilliance and revolutionary loyalty. He earned a PhD in nuclear physics from Isfahan University of Technology, writing his dissertation on neutron transport and identification. Simultaneously, he rose through the ranks of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, eventually achieving the rank of brigadier general. This dual identity made him uniquely dangerous. He understood both the science of building nuclear weapons and the military strategy of deploying them. According to sources inside Iran's Atomic Energy Organization, Fakhrizadeh directed three critical programs. First, missile development for the Revolutionary Guards, focusing on delivery systems capable of carrying nuclear payloads. Second, leadership of Iran's clandestine nuclear research, coordinating work across dozens of facilities. Third, advancement of Iran's drone program, which Israel viewed as another potential nuclear delivery platform. Intelligence reports suggested he maintained contacts with North Korea's weapons scientists, exchanging knowledge on missile technology and warhead design. By the time of his death, he held the position of Deputy Defense Minister, though his real influence extended far beyond any official title. His specialty was circumventing international sanctions. When the world cut off Iran's access to specialized centrifuges, Fakhrizadeh found alternative suppliers. When export controls blocked uranium enrichment technology, he built domestic production capabilities. Israel's Mossad watched as he turned Iran's nuclear program into a hydra, impossible to kill because it operated through so many hidden channels. His personal security matched his importance. He rarely gave interviews, never appeared at public events. Even his own family understood only fragments of his work. This secrecy wasn't paranoia, it was survival strategy. He knew Israel wanted him dead. For Mossad planners, the calculation was straightforward but grim. As long as Fakhrizadeh lived, Iran's path to nuclear weapons remained viable. And if Iran acquired the bomb, Israel faced an existential threat that no defense system could completely neutralize. Fakhrizadeh first appeared in Mossad intelligence reports in 2007. By 2009, Israel had an assassination plan ready, routes mapped, security patterns identified, ambush points selected. Then Mossad's director called it off. Too many variables. Instead, Israel targeted his team. From 2010 to 2012, Iranian nuclear scientists died in systematic hits, bombs attached to cars, motorcyclists with guns, 5 killed in 2 years. Iranian authorities blamed Mossad. Israeli officials said nothing. The message was clear. Iran's nuclear program was vulnerable. Fakhrizadeh survived. His protection tripled. His movements became unpredictable, but Mossad was learning, building networks, identifying weaknesses in Iran's security apparatus. Then came 2018. Israeli operatives broke into a Tehran warehouse and extracted 50,000 pages of documents proving Iran's nuclear program never stopped. One name appeared throughout: Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. Israel now had proof he was the linchpin. For Mossad, the conclusion was inescapable. He had to be eliminated. 3 events converged in early 2020 to make the assassination feasible. First, the killing of Qasem Soleimani. On January 3, 2020, an American drone strike obliterated the commander of Iran's Quds force, arguably the second most powerful man in Iran. Tehran's response was surprisingly restrained. A few missile strikes on American bases in Iraq, but no major escalation. For Israel's military planners, this revealed something critical. Iran was afraid of serious confrontation. The regime would absorb major blows rather than risk all-out war. Mossad's assessment: Iran's deterrence had weakened significantly. Second, the American presidential election. Donald Trump's administration had been exceptionally favorable to Israeli operations against Iran. Trump had withdrawn from the nuclear deal, imposed crushing sanctions, and given Israel implicit approval for covert actions. But if Joe Biden won in November 2020, he would likely attempt to revive the nuclear agreement. Any Israeli strike after that could create a diplomatic crisis with Washington. Mossad's timeline: act before January 2021 or lose the window. Third, COVID-19. The pandemic emptied streets across Iran. Lockdowns reduced traffic. The bustling roads that once made surveillance difficult now provided perfect conditions for an ambush. Mossad's opportunity: unprecedented. In meetings throughout early 2020, Israel's security cabinet reviewed the options. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pressed for action. Mossad Director Yossi Cohen presented a radically new approach: a remotely operated robotic assassination system. The concept was revolutionary. No Israeli agents would need to be physically present at the kill zone. No risk of capture. No potential for diplomatic embarrassment if something went wrong. The plan received approval. Mossad's operations division began the most complex preparation in the agency's history. Absard seemed like an unlikely location for one of Mossad's most significant operations. A quiet resort town about 70 kilometers east of Tehran, popular with Iran's elite for weekend getaways. But this was exactly where Israel's surveillance teams found their opening. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh owned a vacation home in Absard. Every Friday, with near religious regularity, he would leave Tehran and make the hour-long drive. This weekly routine became the foundation of Mossad's operational plan. In intelligence work, patterns are vulnerabilities. Predictability is weakness. For months, Israeli operatives conducted exhaustive surveillance. Some worked from inside Iran, recruited from opposition groups or motivated by payment. Others analyzed satellite imagery from Israel, tracking the convoy's movements week after week. Every detail was documented: where the vehicles accelerated, where they slowed, how the security detail positioned themselves at different points along the route. Gradually, a pattern emerged. On the final approach to Fakhrizadeh's villa, there was a speed bump. The convoy had to slow down. At that exact moment, the lead escort vehicle would pull ahead to secure the property entrance. For approximately 7 to 10 seconds, Fakhrizadeh's car was covered only from behind and the sides. The front was exposed. Mossad's analysts designated this the vulnerability window. It became the foundation of the entire operation. The pandemic provided an unexpected advantage. Absard's usually busy streets were now nearly empty. Iran's security services, overwhelmed with COVID management, had reduced their random patrols. Israel's operational planners mapped the kill zone with extraordinary precision. They identified a raised section of road with clear sightlines, calculated the distance from the weapon position to the target vehicle, measured how long it would take for the convoy to pass through the engagement zone. By autumn 2020, Mossad had what they needed: a complete operational blueprint. They knew the day of the week. Now they needed to smuggle in the weapon system and position it without detection. While surveillance teams mapped Fakhrizadeh's movements, Israel's military engineers faced an extraordinary challenge: design a weapon system capable of assassinating a target with no Israeli operator physically present in Iran. A remotely operated, AI-assisted robotic gun platform that could be controlled via satellite link from potentially thousands of miles away. But there was an immediate problem. The complete system weighed approximately 1 ton. Smuggling something that large into Iran in a single shipment was impossible. Israel's solution was methodical and brilliant. The weapon system was completely disassembled. Each component would enter Iran separately, disguised as innocuous cargo. The weapon itself, a Belgian-made FN MAG 7.62mm machine gun, was smuggled in pieces across multiple entry points. Each shipment was designed to appear completely legitimate if inspected. The risk was enormous. If Iranian customs discovered even one piece and recognized its true purpose, the entire operation would collapse. Mossad relied on a network of Iranian operatives to move and store the components. Secret workshops, likely in basements or warehouses in Tehran, became assembly points. Iranian technicians working for Israel's intelligence services slowly reconstructed the weapons system. One mistake, one suspicious neighbor, one revolutionary guard raid, and everyone involved would face execution. The weapon platform they built was extraordinarily sophisticated. At its core was the FN MAG machine gun, modified for remote operation and mounted on a motorized gimbal that could adjust aim with extreme precision. But the true innovation was the artificial intelligence layer. The AI compensated by predicting the target vehicle's movement and adjusting aim accordingly. The system represented a new category of weapon: human decision-making combined with machine precision. Finally, the assembled system was transported to Absard and installed in a blue Nissan pickup truck. The weapon was concealed beneath tarps and what appeared to be a pile of construction materials or firewood. As a final touch, the vehicle was rigged with explosives. After the assassination, the entire system would self-destruct, eliminating evidence and making forensic analysis nearly impossible. November 27th, 2020. Morning. Somewhere far from Iran, likely in a secure facility in Israel, Mossad operatives power up their control systems. Screens flicker to life, showing live camera feeds from the blue pickup truck on the Absard road. The weapons platform runs through automated diagnostics. All systems operational. Satellite connection stable. The team waits. In Tehran, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh begins his morning routine. He wakes early for Islamic studies, following rituals he's maintained for decades. By mid-morning, he and his wife prepare to leave for their weekend villa in Absard. His security detail, 11 bodyguards from the Revolutionary Guard's elite Ansar unit, check their vehicles and weapons. They've made this trip dozens of times. Today feels no different. By early afternoon, the convoy is ready. 4 armored vehicles, encrypted communications between security personnel. The route has been traveled so many times that everyone knows the timing by heart. In the remote operations center, alerts flash across screens. Target is moving. Estimated arrival at kill zone 1 p.m. The convoy leaves Tehran, heading east. As they drive, Mossad's cameras track their approach. The AI systems begin their calculations, measuring speed, predicting arrival time, preparing firing solutions. 1 p.m. The convoy enters Absard. Inside Israel's operations room, tension is absolute. This is the culmination of over a decade of planning. Multiple assassination attempts, years of surveillance, months of preparation. Everything depends on the next few minutes. The convoy approaches the speed bump. Exactly as predicted, the lead escort vehicle accelerates ahead to secure the villa entrance. The formation breaks. Fakhrizadeh's black Nissan Tayana slows down, now covered only from behind. The camera system locks onto the vehicle. Facial recognition algorithms scan the occupants. Green outline appears around the driver's seat. Target confirmed, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. A Mossad officer gives the authorization, execute. The robotic system comes alive. The FN MAG's barrel adjusts microscopically, compensating for distance, angle, predicted vehicle movement. The AI waits for the optimal firing solution. Then it opens fire. The sound is enormous. A burst of 7.62 mm rounds tears through the Nissan's windshield. The first shots hit Fakhrizadeh in the shoulder and chest. The car swerves violently. He pushes the door open, perhaps instinctively trying to escape, perhaps already dying. The weapon system tracks his movement, recalculates, fires again. More rounds strike his torso. His wife, sitting in the passenger seat, screams but remains physically untouched. The AI had been programmed to distinguish between targets. Every bullet was directed with millimeter precision. One bodyguard breaks from the rear vehicle, running forward with his weapon drawn. He throws himself toward Fakhrizadeh, trying to shield the scientist with his own body. The robotic system identifies the new threat, adjusts aim, another burst of fire. The guard falls. The engagement lasts approximately 15 seconds. Then silence. 3 seconds later, the pickup truck explodes. The blast is massive, designed to completely destroy the weapon system, the electronics, the cameras. Flames consume everything. Shrapnel scatters across the road. Iranian security forces converge on the scene within minutes. They find Fakhrizadeh severely wounded, his wife in shock, one dead bodyguard, and the burning remains of a vehicle that offers no answers. A helicopter is summoned. Fakhrizadeh is rushed to a hospital in Tehran. Surgeons work frantically, but the damage is catastrophic. Multiple gunshot wounds, massive internal bleeding. Despite hours of surgery, they cannot save him. At approximately 7 p.m., Mohsen Fakhrizadeh is pronounced dead. Israel's decade-long hunt is over. Mossad has eliminated Iran's nuclear architect without a single Israeli agent ever entering Iran. Within hours of Fakhrizadeh's death, chaos erupts across Tehran's government apparatus. Initial reports from the scene are confused and contradictory. State television broadcasts that armed attackers ambushed the convoy. But none of it makes sense. Journalists arriving at the scene find no bodies of attackers. By evening, a radically different story emerges. Fars news agency, closely connected to Iran's Revolutionary Guards, reports that there were no human attackers at all. The assassination was carried out by a remote-controlled weapon system. The admission stuns the Iranian public. The security implications are devastating. Social media explodes with reactions. Some Iranians express genuine fear. Memes spread mocking the government's incompetence. Each joke is a small act of defiance, but together, they erode the regime's carefully constructed image of strength. Inside Iran's security apparatus, the recriminations begin immediately. The Ministry of Intelligence and the Revolutionary Guards accuse each other of failure. Intelligence Minister Mahmoud Alavi hints that a former military officer was involved. The army responds furiously, stating the individual was discharged years ago for misconduct. No one wants to take the blame for the huge security breach. Tehran implements emergency measures. Checkpoints appear throughout the capital. The Revolutionary Guards launch an internal investigation, but the more they search, the clearer the reality becomes. The assassins are long gone, and the weapon destroyed itself. Everyone understands the implied message. Israel is willing to strike anywhere, anytime. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei vows retaliation. President Hassan Rouhani promises that Iran's nuclear program will continue. But behind the defiant rhetoric, Iran's leadership understands they have been humiliated. Mossad has demonstrated capabilities that Iran cannot defend against. In Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, official Israel says nothing. Mossad offers no confirmation or denial. This ambiguity is deliberate, a core principle of Israel's covert operations doctrine. By neither confirming nor denying involvement, Israel achieves several strategic objectives. Behind closed doors, however, Israel's intelligence and military establishments are analyzing every detail of the operation. According to sources familiar with Israel's internal assessments, Mossad considered the operation a complete success. The target was eliminated. No Israeli operatives were captured or killed. The weapon system self-destructed as planned. Most importantly, the operation demonstrated Israel's willingness and ability to act decisively against perceived existential threats. But there are concerns. The use of AI-guided robotic weapons represents a threshold crossing. Israel has introduced a new type of warfare into the Middle East. The technology will spread, and when it does, Israel may find itself targeted by the very type of system it pioneered. Some within Israel's security establishment question whether Fakhrizadeh's assassination was strategically wise. Intelligence assessments suggest that Iran's nuclear program has not slowed. If anything, Iran has accelerated certain research activities, perhaps motivated by revenge or a determination to prove the program cannot be stopped by targeting individuals. Yet Israel's leadership maintains that buying time is itself valuable. Every year that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons is a year for diplomacy, for sanctions to work, for regime change to potentially occur. The deeper question remains unanswered. What precedent has Israel set? Mohsen Fakhrizadeh became the fifth Iranian nuclear scientist killed since 2010. Previous assassinations relied on human agents physically present at the kill zone. These methods worked, but carried enormous risk. The Absard operation changed the equation entirely. For the first time in documented history, a high-level political assassination was executed by a remotely controlled AI-assisted weapon system. Israel's Mossad has demonstrated that distance is no longer protection. The most sophisticated security details in the world cannot defend against weapons that operate with machine precision and human decision-making combined. This is not science fiction. This is reality now, and the implications are staggering. The technology used against Fakhrizadeh will inevitably spread. Other intelligence services are already developing similar capabilities. Eventually, non-state actors will acquire versions of this technology. International law prohibits extrajudicial killings, but enforcement mechanisms are weak. Israel argues that targeting Fakhrizadeh was legitimate self-defense. He was a senior military officer in Iran's Revolutionary Guards, actively working on weapons systems designed to threaten millions of Israeli lives. Under this logic, eliminating him before he could complete his work was not murder, but preventive action against an imminent threat. By afternoon, he was dead, killed by a machine operating on algorithmic precision, controlled by humans he never saw, from a country he couldn't reach. This is the future of warfare. But invisible weapons, hidden in plain sight, waiting with infinite patience for the moment when human targets become algorithmic problems to be solved. Israel's Mossad has shown the world what's possible. They've crossed a threshold that cannot be uncrossed. The question isn't whether this technology will spread. The question is what world we're building when distance doesn't protect you, borders don't shield you, and the next generation of warfare is fought by machines we can barely comprehend. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh's death wasn't just an assassination. It was a warning, a glimpse into a future where artificial intelligence doesn't just guide weapons, it decides who dies.